What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 31 of the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast. On this episode, we are talking Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Sega Next Generation, Hellblade 2, and Light No Fire.
You know what, Adam? I'm never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you. Just rickrolled our audience, Dave. That's awesome.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
You are now tuned in to the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast.
I love it when you talk nerdy to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it only took 31 episodes to sneak in a rickroll, but we have officially done it in Let's Talk Nerdy style. Yeah, we just rickrolled everybody.
And I got it right. So that's also really good. So Rick Astley, never gonna give you up. I finally got one right off the bat too. As soon as you started it, I got it. So round of applause.
Round of applause. Adam, take a bow. You are 50% on guessing for season 2, which is a great percentage there to take into the new season.
I was saying, considering I got like 1 out of like 30 last season, so I think we're off to a good start. But Dave, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, dude. How are you doing? How is life? How is things? What are you playing at the moment? Let everybody know.
Well, I've already kind of shown you this, but I'm not really playing too many games right now, but I'm going a little retro. I've found this thing called MUVR, which essentially is an emulation of retro games, but in VR. But the cool thing about it is like you make your room and like you can have different consoles in there. So you have a room and you load in different games, like different ROMs into the game, and you can have your PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, like Sega Genesis, handhelds are in there too. And so what I've been doing is I've been loading the games into there. And so far I've played some Bully on the PS2, a little bit of Super Mario All-Star Baseball, but what I've really spent the most time on is like, so we talked the other night, I spent 8 hours, or not 8 hours. I started about 8 p.m. and I went all the way till 3 a.m. designing my room because you can put your own posters in there and things like that. So it's super cool, making it like a nostalgia trip back to the 1990s, early 2000s for me. So I really enjoyed that. And I think what I'm going to do is I think I'll like make a video so everybody can kind of see what the room is and what the game is, but also maybe a tutorial on like how to actually do it. And it's really cool.
Please do. This is absolutely insane, guys. I feel like Adam is maybe underselling it a little bit, but I have watched him carefully craft this room, and I'm super jealous of this whole experience. So much so that I have had a Meta VR sitting in my cart for a few days, and I'm just waiting to pull the trigger on that bad boy because I want my personal 1990s retro room. I feel like I need that in my life. And one thing that's really cool, and we haven't really talked about this before, is the way that you play the games. I think is really cool. So guys, like the way that these games, and now I know a lot of retro fans are like, oh, another emulator, like whatever. But the way that you play these games is really cool. Like the consoles are interactive. Like you can physically put the games in the consoles. Like you're playing them on a retro, like 4x3 tube TV inside of this room that you've created. And, it's really cool, man. You can you put posters on the walls. Like Adam was showing me the room and I was like, dude, I had that poster when I was a kid. And I was like, this is so crazy. Yeah.
It's awesome because you can also like customize the wallpapers too. Just have like a wallpaper from the 90s or the carpet, like the 1990s arcade. You can put that carpet in there. Do you know like the old 90s cups, like the blue and like red around it? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Like those styrofoam cups, that design that's always around them. That's my blanket and my pillowcase.
Let's go.
In the game. So it's such a fun thing, and the cool thing about it, it's free
for now.
No, they said forever. In their description, it says forever, but they can always change that. It's free, except obviously you have to own the games to put into the emulators. But it's been really cool to play. And one other thing about it is like you can load in the game discs, like the art for every game that you have. So like it looks like you're opening the discs like from the game cases, and I've had a blast in it. And I just keep doing more, and they're constantly updating it, adding more. People are creating different like assets that you can put in there, like things on the shelves and stuff. So I'll definitely show you guys a little bit more about that. But it's been a blast to play. But Dave, what are you playing?
All right. Yeah, so little spoiler alert coming here. I haven't been playing much, but what I have been playing is going to be the star of our next Let's Play series, which will be coming very, very soon. And keeping with the retro theme, because Adam just implanted this, I must have an awesome retro room in my brain. I was like, let's go back to the N64 era, and we did a little Let's Play of 007 GoldenEye on the 64, and I am super excited to get that out to you guys, so you guys can check it out. And if you were a fan of the Lords of the Fallen, play through. I don't want to say walk through, because if you follow that walkthrough, you will have a hard time. If you were a fan of the Lords of the Fallen Let's Play series, you may be a little disappointed to know that this one is coming in right around 5 episodes. But if you did take a look at the Let's Play series of Lords of the Fallen and you were like, yo, Adam and Dave, 57 episodes is not for me, then you're gonna be very happy, because this one is much more consumable. So yeah, we did a little GoldenEye 64, and honestly, I had a blast, dude. And we did it on 007 difficulty, so we actually went through. We had to do all of the objectives in the game, not just kind of like the easy stuff to run through it on Agent. So yeah, I had a good time playing the game, and surprisingly, 00 Agent it was a little challenging. Not gonna lie, it was tough at some parts.
I'm excited to see it because I love GoldenEye. Speaking of that, I do have that in my MUVR on the N64. So that's it's so cool, so cool. But yeah, retro games, just going back, just brings that sense of nostalgia, and I think that's kind of what our whole night of video game topics are tonight. We got. Want to just kick it off right now?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get into the first game. We got a lot to talk about. I'm super excited for most of it.
Most of it? Oh, okay. Here we go.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. All right, our first game is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Dave, let's hear what do you want to talk about at the start?
So I mean, I think just touching on Dragon Ball is kind of like, I'm kind of excited for it, because we haven't talked Dragon Ball on this series at all. I don't think.
I mean, we mentioned it a little bit in our last episode 30, because like Wukong has been implemented as Goku a little bit, but other than actual talking about Dragon Ball games, we have not talked about any Dragon Ball on this channel.
Yeah, and it's a really big topic, and I was like, we 31 episodes before we touched on anything Dragon Ball. That's kind of crazy. But I'm super excited about this, and I know that there's somebody else that's super excited about it. A little shout out to my baby bro, Pete. Love you, buddy. We are finally talking about something Dragon Ball, because he's been a huge Dragon Ball fan his whole life. And we haven't touched on anything. So yeah, this game, to me, as you guys know, and if you guys are listeners of the show, I'm not the hugest anime fan, to be honest. Not the hugest Dragon Ball Z fan, to be honest. But this game specifically looks really, really cool to me. There's some very like defining characteristics of this game that I think is like kind of standout stuff in a fighter.
Mm-hmm. And you know me, I'm also not a huge Dragon Ball fan. I've watched a lot of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, just as a kid, as it popped up on the like cartoons and stuff like that. But I don't know as well as some other people I know. But I specifically remember playing these games as a kid, and to me, that's why I'm excited about it, because I love fighters, and you know that, and listeners also know that fighters those are some of my favorite games. Even though I'm not the best at them, I like to play them because they're just fun. And if you ever want to face me 1v1 in them, I will most likely get destroyed because I suck at these games, but I love to play them. However, I'm super excited about this one. It's going to be a Budokai Tenkaichi. I probably said that wrong. Maybe I didn't. Tenkaichi? I think that's it.
I feel like you
Budokai
nailed
Tenkaichi.
it.
I did. Number 4 of the series. So the last one came out 16 years ago. So
that's crazy how long.
Yeah. I know, and
Yeah.
so that like fans of the Budokai series is super excited about this. It's a super dedicated group. The last like fighting game that Dragon Ball had was Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and so this is just going back to Budokai series. Now let's go ahead and pull up the trailer.
Yeah, let's take a look at the trailer because I think there's some really really cool aspects in the trailer.
Mhm.
And I think maybe like some of these things that you're seeing here is like like the all right. So if you guys are just listening on the Spotify, the trailer is opening up right now, and we are seeing just like a very quintessential version. Like the first thing that I noticed is like from the opening scene of this trailer, like even just the very opening first few frames, I was like,
Yeah,
"This is Dragon Ball." You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's so true to like the feel of the series and the vibe of the series, and I think they really nailed that.
Yeah. And I kind of going off that is I think that's a big component of this version of the game is like they're not going too far from their roots. Really, essentially, what number 4 is, or Budokai, this Sparking Zero essentially is a refresh of the game and just bringing it to modern day age and just with like crisper animations and like tons of like new terms things like that, or like there's destructiveness to the environments now,
Yeah.
which there was in the past, but with this one it's more specific on how you interact. So like if your enemy hits a boulder, the specific part that you hit is going to fall over, if that makes sense. So like in the old ones, you hit a boulder, the whole thing collapses, but now it looks like if you hit the top of the boulder, only the top will break, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like much more of like a attention to physics,
Yeah,
a much more
exactly.
realistic style. Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit, and I was like, this game specifically, like that increased environmental damage, it really needs it. You know what I mean? And it's because we're dealing with characters that are so powerful, right? That if you did not affect the environment in this fight, it would almost feel weird. And the example that we were like that I was kind of talking to you about, it's like you play a Godzilla game and you like Godzilla does not destroy the city. Like you feel like you're causing no damage as Godzilla, and you're just like this feels wrong. Like it just feels off. You know what I mean? And I'm excited that they brought the environmental damage to like where it should be. You know what I mean?
It almost wouldn't make sense if they didn't have that in this type of game because of how explosive they are. And then kind of going off that a little bit, I don't know, in the trailer you saw Frieza holding his I'm gonna blank on the name because it's been so long, but he's throwing his earth destroying ball down, and like they're in one scene and you see the ground kind of crumbling around him, and then the next clip is Frieza versus Vegeta fighting in a like a destroyed world. And so I think that's really cool that it's going to have that level of destruction where it completely alters the world you're playing in.
Yeah, and I think like you talked about, it's like they made some improvements to the gameplay mechanics, and from everything that I've read, they've made those improvements based on feedback from players of the series, but they really stayed true to like the core gameplay mechanics. Like this hasn't changed a lot from Budokai 3, and I think that's good because people had some issues with the gameplay mechanics, but not like anything detrimental. I mean, for the vast majority of people are like this feels really good. It plays really good. And it's like the classic if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know what I mean? So and they stuck to those modern game like they stuck to those gameplay mechanics that people love, and I think that's really really cool. And you can see a lot of that in the trailer. I mean, we don't have a ton of actual fighting in the trailer, but what we do see, it's like they have the blue Super Saiyan, like that. People are expecting that, like they're doing like the beam clashes, like we saw like we
The
saw like the beam clash.
Kamehameha, come on,
Yeah, like
Dave. Come
well,
on.
you know what I'm saying though,
I
but
know.
you like we saw the beam clashes in the
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
the trailer, and like everything that everybody's expecting should be in this game, I would think.
Yeah, and it's funny kind of how you talk about that. So I asked my friend who's a huge Dragon Ball fan, like he has all of the Dragon Ball on DVD, Dragon Ball Z. He might have those on Dragon on DVD as well. But he collects like all the Dragon Ball Z pop figures and a bunch of collectible stuff. And I asked him, I was like, "So what do you expect from this game?" And he just says a bunch of new characters from Dragon Ball Super. But other than that, he didn't say that he wanted change to the gameplay mechanics because like you said, like fans are super excited that they're staying true to it. And it like and for me, I like where it's like 3D. Like I love that about like this fighting game. It's because like it's you're just in the whole environment, not just being stuck on a platform side or 2Ds. You know what I mean?
The fans really kind of like the gameplay mechanics, and I think it's cool. The one gameplay mechanic that I do want to throw out there, and I hope that they make an adjustment to this, is we talked very mildly about the beam clashes. And the beam clashes, a lot of times, it's like, you get into that lock mode where it's like you have to do a specific action, and whoever does that action fast enough ends up winning the clash, right? Um, in some games that has some things to do with like the stick. I know specifically in like 3 it was like this like circular motion of the stick. Um if anybody from Bandai Namco is listening, if we could change that to like a button mash of X, that would be a lot better because I just remember like playing games like that and like my hand would literally hurt like trying to
Yeah, start
spin that stick
cramping up.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if y'all have noticed, and I'm sure a lot of you have already, but these new next gen controllers, we're already having some issues with like stick drift and like a lot of, issues with these sticks not performing well. So anything that we could do to keep me from having to buy another $70 controller sooner, that would be great. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, so hopefully that's not in there. And with that I saw like it's cool cuz you can like dodge out of the beam attacks if you so want to. So I think that's pretty cool too. So
Yeah. No, I think the game itself looks really, really cool. But no, the one question I had is you kind of brought this up too, and it's like the only thing is like, is there a storyline to this game, or is this just like is this more just like a tournament fighter?
I we yeah, trying to think about that. I'm not 100% sure, but I haven't played the old ones in the past, but from what I remember is like it wasn't so much a story, it was just more so like you fight in these like battles that were in the show. If I remember correctly, like, you go to these battles and like it's just like an iconic battle between like two characters. So like Frieza versus Goku, and it's a fight between them. And then you go to the next fight, and it's like a little cutscene in between each one. But I haven't played in a while, so I can't really remember how it was. But I don't think it's gonna be like a true storyline. It might be kind of what you said, like a fighter like tournament style.
Like reliving like the coolest fights from all of the shows?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the old ones have done. At least unless I'm mistaking it for a different game, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was done in the past.
Yeah, because I mean that could be really cool because I was kind of like I wasn't really sure of the timeline of this game of like where this game actually exists because you look at the title, the title is Dragon Ball. It has all the Dragon Ball Z characters in it. The information that's coming out from the developers and on the website, it's like they're kind of pushing the feel of like, okay, well, this is Dragon Ball Super, and it's like I'm confused at where we are. Like, what series is this?
Yeah, and that's a question that I don't know the answer to as well, and they didn't really show us as well in the website or the. But from what I understand, it's gonna kind of combine them in both, and that's why I think it's gonna be like you'll go to specific battles between like certain characters in certain parts of the franchise, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's going to be really, really cool, and I do have one more question, and I think this is kind of like the most the biggest, most popular thing that people are really excited about, and that of course is the roster of characters. This is supposed to be touted as the largest roster of characters ever in a Budokai game.
I think so, and it's funny to bring that up because I don't know how many that's gonna be because that could be a ton of characters. It's gonna be all of them from all the series, or is it gonna be a certain amount? Are they gonna turn into a DLC where you get these 10 characters, but now you have to buy these like for $20 for two, kind of how Mortal Kombat does it? It's hard to question because like on the website that you brought this up to me, it's like before it said historical amount of characters, and now the website says like a bunch or something like that, an incredible amount.
An
Yeah,
impressive amount.
yeah. incredible, impressive number of characters, and it's how many is an incredible number of characters is the question.
Yeah. Because I thought that was really funny. It's like when this game came out and the website was like, oh, this a historic amount of characters. And then everybody's like, yo, there's going to be like 80 characters in this. And then the website's like, hold on, guys, let's pull it back. Let's change it. Let everybody calm down. It's not historic. Okay. It's just impressive. You're just like, ooh, guys already backstepping on that one, huh?
Yeah, dial back your expectations if you expect 80 Dragon Ball characters in this game. I have no idea how many characters are going to be in. I hope a lot because there's so many characters that I know and love that I would love to see in this game. But I kind of lost it after Dragon Ball Z. Like I'm not there with the Dragon Ball Super as much as like my friend and probably your brother, but I'm still excited about this game. And like you said, like we had talked about this a little bit, is you counted 19 already, like that in the
Yes.
trailer. So there's a lot of characters just based off the trailer. There's only going to be more than what the trailer's showing. They don't want to put all their eggs in a basket to show everybody. Like they're keeping them behind hidden doors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like Adam said, I kind of looked through all of like the trailers that have released and all of all the gameplay stuff and just kind of did a little bit of a deep dive and I found 19 different characters within all of that are technically I would assume they're technically confirmed because they're being shown in all this material, which is still a decent amount of characters. I mean, for a fighting game, having 20 characters in the roster is pretty good. And, like Adam said, there's going to be more that they're not showing. So, I mean, I don't think that they're going to disappoint. If that's a good word, I don't think they're going to disappoint with the number of characters, but I did just think it was kind of odd that everybody was like super juiced. And then they were just, as developers, they were like, whoa, hey, let's all calm down, guys. Like,
We'll show you when we're ready, but it's got to be more than just 19. And I wonder, like, so, and they also, with it, they're going to have their signature abilities and their techniques and stuff like that. My one concern is I know they're staying true to most of their, like, what the game was in the past. Are they going to have the elements of, like, how Mortal Kombat's doing, where, like, oh, you have to level this character up to get this part of the character? Like, that's one thing I don't want to see in this game.
I'm also kind of concerned about that. And I'm also kind of concerned of, are they saying that this is like a historic amount of characters and they're also counting like the Super Saiyan transformations as their own characters? I mean, there's a little bit of like, I don't know. There's a little bit of gray area still with this game, and I don't think people are gonna want to do the level up process like in Mortal Kombat. I don't think that worked.
I don't really like it in Mortal Kombat either, where like you get like not different abilities, but like you unlock different things as you rank up your character, and you can unlock specific types of moves and stuff. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna do that, just because if it's really an expansive list of characters, I don't know how they can. If they have like, I know 80 is a lot of numbers, but let's say they have 30 characters. That's a lot of extra steps to put into these characters as you play, or like as you develop a game.
Yeah, in any fighter, you don't want to have a move set locked behind any type of leveling system, and especially that tournament fighting is still really big, right? So it's like I don't understand, what Mortal Kombat's gonna do, where it's like, okay, we're gonna have a Mortal Kombat tournament fighter. Well, does everybody work with the move set of the maxed out character?
I think how it works is like there's different move sets like that are banned for tournament play and things like that. And so I think if they're gonna do that, that's gonna probably how it's gonna happen with this game too.
When you're playing any type of tournament fighter, you just want to kind of like you want to get your character, you want to get your main, you want to feel comfortable with all the move sets and not like, because you very much develop like a style of playing with this character, right? And it's really important in a tournament fighter that you're really good with a specific character with a specific move set. And it's like you're constantly relearning the move set as you're adding things to it. In the context of a tournament fighter, like that's not ideal for anybody. You know what I mean?
Not at all. But overall, I'm super excited about this game, and the more that gets released, I'm going to be even more excited about it. And in my MUVR, of course, I have Dragon Ball Budokai 3 in there, so I'm going to be playing
Loaded
that.
up.
So yeah, exactly. So I'm super excited about this one, and the more and more that comes out about it, we'll talk about it as it comes out. But It's on my list, on my wish list. Although it's gonna be on Steam, Xbox, and PS5. Yeah.
Super excited for it. It looks really good. Again, guys, it is in the early stages, so we'll have more to come on this game. I'm super sure about. But I know again, shout out baby bro Pete, love you buddy. He's gonna be playing this game, and I'm sure I will be seeing a ton of it. All right, now talking about this impressive roster of characters. I thought it'd be kind of fun, since you did a little bit of this or that on the last episode, if we turned the tables and I did a little bit of this and that on you. And I want to know,
Here we go.
we're going to figure out who your favorite Dragon Ball character is of all time.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Adam's This and That of the best Dragon Ball Z character ever. Your first choice, Android 18 versus Cell.
Android 18 or Cell? Which Cell? Is it Final Cell? Beginning Cell?
Let's go final.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Cell.
No, I made it too easy. I made it too easy. We shouldn't have gone final. I made it too. No, okay. All right. Next up, we're gonna have Cell versus Krillin.
Krillin's kind of a whiny character, and he's always getting beat up pretty bad. So I'm gonna go with Cell.
Ooh, that's a fan favorite. You're going to get roasted.
I know he is, but he's always getting beat up, and he's always whining. And I love Krillin, but in terms of like who's gonna fight, I'm going Cell. Final Cell.
Go get roasted. I can't wait for these comments. Okay, next up, we got Cell versus Trunks.
Ooh, Trunks. I love Trunks. I don't know what about him. He's so cool.
No hesitation.
Nope.
No
Trunks is
hesitation
one of
at
my
all.
favorite characters. So you might have just sold it right there.
Okay, well, here we go. Here's where we're gonna make some people mad. Trunks versus Goku.
Give me the main character of most of the show versus my favorite character. This is a tough one. I want to say Goku, but if I don't, I'll feel bad in the inside. So I'm going Trunks. Yeah, sorry, Trunks over Goku.
This is the Huntress all over again. You're so screwed, dude.
Yep.
Okay, next up, Trunks versus Piccolo.
Dang, why do you keep doing this to me?
Let's go. I did good.
That's another one of my favorite characters. And there's a point where like Piccolo is evil. Shoot. Is he good Piccolo or evil Piccolo?
Evil.
All right, I'm gonna pick Trunks.
I'm
a good guy by heart. Yeah, I'm a good guy by heart.
I made it too easy again. Okay, Trunks versus Frieza.
Frieza kind of annoys me too. I'm going Trunks.
Whoa. Okay. This one's gonna be real tough. Trunks versus Vegeta.
Oh, I'm still going Trunks. I like Trunks that much.
Still going Trunks?
Yeah.
Okay, and Trunks versus Gohan.
Ooh. If I don't say Gohan, Gohan's so strong. He's so cool too. I will go with Gohan. Trunks. I'm going Trunks.
Oh, you almost bent.
I did.
You bend but did not break. Well done, sir. Okay. Guys, Adam's favorite Dragon Ball Z character of all time, the one and only Trunks.
I do love Trunks. I don't know what about him. I just think he's got the coolest style, like art design to him. And yeah, I think he's really cool. I'm trying to think of other ones if you would have said, I think if you would, although I should have asked, if you would have said Goku as a kid or an adult, I don't know how I would have picked it.
Trunks took down some mains, dude. Trunks took down Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan.
Yeah, I just really like Trunks. I don't know, like if you would have picked like Master Roshi, if I would have picked him, I don't know, because he's funny. I'm just glad you didn't give me like Bulma and stuff like that. So
I tried to keep it mains. We tried to keep it main. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm cool with that then. Yeah, Trunks is he's up there. He's my favorite.
I'm so excited to see the results of this.
I know. All right, moving on through our nostalgic journey, we're going into Sega Next Generation, which is the refresh of new games. I think they're not just remakes. They're new games, which is really cool.
I hope you have some insight on this because I don't really know exactly what the game plan is here, to be honest.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up the trailer just to see what we're talking about. It's not a trailer of one specific game. It's a trailer from the game show that was a few weeks ago, and it's just showing off all the Segas. They call it a next generation, not refresh, a revival, something like that. But here's the trailer.
I think the trailer is just too long. Like, do you think it's just like too long? Like, I was just like, it was almost like waiting for water to boil. You know, when you're like waiting for water to boil, and you're like, I know it's gonna happen. I don't know why it's taking so long, but I know something's gonna happen eventually. That's what I was kind of thinking about, like when I was watching this trailer. I was like, dude, just get into it, dude. Like,
Trailer,
I know,
finally.
like, come on, let's get into it.
Here's the trailer. And yeah, I could see what you're saying. It's like, just get to the point, basically, because like,
Yeah.
like, what is the trailer? Like, what are we watching right now? It's been, how many seconds has this been? It's already been 11 seconds. And it gets all
14
the way
seconds.
to about, still nothing. You're still not sure.
Still nothing. Because if you're just listening on the Spotify, we're basically just like watching these two people sit on the couch, and like this is where something is starting to happen, and it's
Yeah.
like all of these objects are kind of getting like sucked into a different dimension, is what I think it is, and then now
Yeah.
the power's out. But I mean, what are we at right now? We're at like 30.
40 seconds
35.
right now. And we still don't
Yeah.
know the full expect of this game.
Yeah, and we still
Except-
don't know what really is happening
And then
right now. This is what we know.
you get the Sega, and then you know it's gonna be something Sega related. But now it gets to the different games that they're remaking. So there's Jet Set Radio, which is one I'm super excited about. I'm actually not sure what this one is.
That's Streets of Rage. That's Shinobi.
Streets of Rage, Shinobi,
Yeah. Shinobi looks
it's-
sick. That's Golden Axe.
Golden Axe, and then they're calling it a New Energy is what they're calling it. New Era, New Energy, and then Crazy Taxi, which I think it looks really cool too. So
I
yeah,
think
that's
they
the
look
5
really, really
games, and
cool.
they're gonna be making more that are in development, and they look good. So I think that's really cool. And for me, I love these Sega games. Like going back to that nostalgia trip, I love Sega games back in the day that I play. I didn't play too many, but like Jet Set Radio, Sonic, those are all the games that I play as a kid. And I'm super excited about what they're gonna bring to this new refresh of these games. And it's not just a reboot, it's not just a remake. It's a reboot of the game.
I know Adam very, very well, so I'm gonna have him set me up right here. But I'm gonna ask him a question so that he naturally sets me up. Adam, which game are you most excited about?
Oh, that's easy. That's Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio, that's right. And I knew you were gonna say that. And if you guys don't know, Jet Set Radio is a really, really cool game, and it is about inline skating, aggressive inline skating. Which was very, very popular back in the day. And I don't know if even Adam knows this, but I know I've never shared this with you guys before, but I actually was super, super into aggressive inline skating. I really, really, really liked it. So I'm super excited about those games. But it got me thinking, you know, I bet you I still have a pair of my skates laying around. So I went and did a little digging, but just to show to Adam, this is my aggressive online skates or inline skates.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, inlines.
Dude, those things are beat up. That's so cool.
They're so Look at that grind plate.
Yeah, man. You can
That's-
actually like do
that's
tricks
all-
and grind and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I loved it, man. I was like a handrail. I was ramps. I did everything, dude. I loved it.
That's so cool. See, I'm not that aggressive, but I just bought a pair actually of like quad skates, and I like to roller rink skate, and I'm really good at that. I'm pretty fast at it. And so yeah, I love skating, and I don't know why it just kind of translates to this game why I love it so much, but I am super excited about it. But that is super cool that you have those still, because not me. I get rid of stuff, but that is so cool.
And they still fit. And I was like, you know
Wow.
what? I'm gonna pop these on. So I popped them out. I popped them on and see if I could still skate around.
Could you?
Yeah, I could still skate. Yeah, but not anything like back in the day. But yeah, I could not. I didn't fall, so there's that.
Okay, that's good. That's really good.
But
So I took out my new skates to the local roller rink, and I didn't adjust my trucks, and so like I could skate backwards, which is no problem, but I went to go like turn back around, and my back wheel was so like tight, so it didn't allow like the trucks to kind of move as I was trying to turn around. So I just went over backwards because I wasn't
Oh
expecting
no.
it. So, but yeah, I love skating. And kind of just going back to like it's a nostalgia thing for me. So Jet Set Radio, the last game that was released was in 2002. So 21 years ago, or wait, no, 22 years ago now. It's 2024. Wowza.
Over 20 years either way.
And what's really cool about this is they're bringing the original creators to keep this game moving. And I think that's important when I hope it's the same for many of these games, but I did a little bit more deep diving into Jet Set Radio just because I love it. And yeah, so they're bringing the original creators. And as you saw in the trailer, like there's elements that's true to the game, but they're also adding like, I don't know if you saw like a little like um hardcore parkour into the game, like which isn't in the other ones. Like you saw him jumping on the railing and using his hands and not just like jumping on with the skates. So they're adding like different elements like that. And I like the updated look to it too. And that's the same for all the games. Like all the games look really cool with the updated refresh. If I think so.
All of them except one. Um, Shinobi, man. Did you
You don't like
like?
it? I didn't play
I
that one, so
lo-
I don't know too much.
So I love Shinobi, and I was actually like a little disappointed because if you go back and look at that trailer, and guys, if you're just listening on the Spotify, we saw a lot of updates in that trailer, and the one that I think that they fell kind of short on was Shinobi. It just looked like they didn't really do any updates. You know what I mean? Because it's like Crazy Taxi obviously looked a lot better. Jet Set Radio obviously looked a lot better. Streets of Rage and Golden Axe are totally different games. I mean, they've gone from a 2D to a 3D, and it's a literal totally different game. Shinobi, on the other hand, was still just kind of like a 2D Shinobi. It looked like maybe they just used like a couple different sprites, which I was like, I'm kind of like I'm okay with it as like a retro guy, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe like they just kind of threw that one on last minute. Like we should do Shinobi too. Like, hey, we don't have a lot of time. Like, who cares? Let's just do it real fast.
I wonder. So, would you say Shinobi, in terms of like popularity, is probably one of the lower games?
I mean, I don't know. I really love Shinobi. I think Shinobi is like a very good standalone. Like it's an iconic Sega franchise. Shinobi is.
Okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Well,
Like if I had my choice, I probably would have put more effort into Shinobi than I would Crazy Taxi.
I think it's hard because they're probably looking at it at an aspect of like, okay, what is going to bring the most like people back to these games? And I wonder, like for me, like Crazy Taxi's that. Like I loved a lot of Crazy Taxi. Like I played that much more. Like I had no idea what Shinobi was until I started watching this trailer.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just kind of not the norm. I just like weird ninja stuff. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Ignore me, guys. I got nothing.
Or maybe do you think like with these refreshes of like let's say Golden Axe and Streets of Rage, like are they straying away from the original too much where people are gonna be like more upset? Whereas like Shinobi, it's like it looks like the original, but it's continuation on to like a better like a new story. You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to be like a hater. Like I'm not disappointed either way. I think it's just it has a lot to do with continuity, right? And it's like
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would make 4 of the 5 games look one way and have one game kind of be the outlier. You know what I mean? And like I'm fine with just a remastered Shinobi. I'm fine with just a remastered of all these games because I like the games as they were. And like if you just want to do a remastered version, that's totally cool because I'm down for remasters. Like I still play the original games. It's just weird that it's like 4 like I'm kind of toting these as like a set of 5, and it's weird that 4 of them are remakes and one feels like a remaster. You know what I mean? It's like I just feel like they should have done all of them one way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Only time will tell. And it's cool. Like, so it's these 5 games, but you saw at the bottom it said "and more" in the trailer, and so there's going to be a lot more games. And one that's like rumored right now is Virtua Fighter.
Virtual Fighter, yeah. Virtu People have been waiting for a new Virtua Fighter for like ever.
But I just think it's going to be another game that they're just going to make a new one of. Um, but what are some Sega games that you'd like to see remade?
Yeah, because actually it's good. It's cool that you brought that up because Virtua Fighter was on my list of like like these are good games. Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Streets of Rage. These are all good games, but there's a couple that aren't really like my first choice. You know what I mean? And I was kind of like looking at it, and I was like, this is cool, and it's cool that there's and more, but like, don't you feel like they would start with Sonic?
I mean, Sonic has been like from I actually read something about like what the CEO of Sega said. He said he wanted to like say how proud he was of Sonic keeping Sega afloat and the Yakuza keeping Sonic afloat. So I think they're everybody knows Sonic. Where I think they're trying to bring a refresh to these new games that people don't know as much, and just like, oh, let's get people that have that nostalgia feel that want these games. We'll give them the game, but also let's get some new like franchises that will be new to others that will get people excited about Sega games again, rather than just, oh, here's another Sonic game, here's another Yakuza game. So like I think that's kind of why they're not going Sonic right now.
I guess that makes sense, like to trying to get off of the leaning on the Sonic crutch. But yeah, I thought it was weird that they didn't include it. But I mean, there's a couple franchises that I would really think that they should do, and we talked about Virtual Fighter and Sonic. Fantasy Star is one of them. Do you know Fantasy Star?
No, I don't.
Fantasy Star is like Sega's version of Final Fantasy. It was really, really popular, and I would think that if they're gonna do a remaster, like of or a remake of some of these titles, I would think that Fantasy Star would be part of it. And just as like my own little selfish kind of thing, I know they won't do this because it wasn't a super popular series. It's got a cult following, but Toe Jam and Earl. I would love for them to do a little Toe Jam and Earl remaster.
For me, all I need is Jet Set Radio. Like I don't need any other games from Sega because I love that so much. I loved it so much. I played this game called Cyber Funk Bomb Rush or something like that, which is like a Jet Set Radio game. And it had everything that felt like it, but they added like you could ride a BMX bike, you could ride the roller skates, and then a skateboard. And so it felt like Jet Set Radio, but just different spins on it. And for I was one like I think that game did so well. Sega was like, wait, people still love these types of games. People want to play a Jet Set Radio like game. Heck yeah, let's do it. And so they made. I think that could be a reason why, or like they see that people want these types of games, and I think that's why like Sega's gonna do well with these reboots of these games.
You know me, dude. I'm still a retro player, so I think it's really, really cool that they're even like redoing this. And honestly, just looking at like the 3D remasters, just the very small little clips that you got in that trailer, specifically of Streets of Rage and Golden Axe, look really, really cool. Because I love Streets of Rage and I loved Golden Axe. Those were two games that were just like couch co-ops that I would play with my brother and my friends all the time, and to see those redone into a 3D, it's like that's going to be super, super cool. I do think though that the success of this quote unquote remaster relaunch is going to have a lot to do with how they offer this to the public. And my question to you is how do you think that they're going to do this? Is this going to be in like a bundle, like a Sega collection where you get all 5 games with one thing? Do you think they're going to drop these as like individual releases at a discounted price? Like, I think the idea is cool, and I think that they've shown that they've put the work into it to make the actual games cool. But I think the distribution also has to be like really, really good in order for these games to kind of take on a second life.
I got a follow up question for you. What is like the most popular way of putting games together right now?
Well, it depends who you are. Now, like you are a PC guy, so to just have them single releases or put them on a streaming service or any type of like monthly Sega channel is $8 a month type of thing is like
Yep.
probably the best way to do it. But for me, that doesn't work because I'm a console player.
It's starting to work now because Ubisoft Plus has a console version for Xbox and PlayStation. EA has it for the PlayStation and the Xbox. Game Pass is on PC and Xbox. But I think the way they're kind of setting this up right now is it's going to be individual release if you want to pay full retail. I don't know how much the full retail will be for these games, 40, 70, you know what I mean, 45 to $70. But for me, I think they're setting it up because they have so many games that are newer. So a bunch of Sonics, they have a bunch of the Yakuzas. And for this, I think they're probably going to release Sega Unlimited or Sega Plus once they get enough games to really justify having a subscription-based gaming platform. And that's kind of where I could see this going with all the refresh, the new games coming out. And I think that's pretty cool. I know for me, like, how I do my subscriptions is if they'll release a game, I'll buy it for that month, play that game for the month, and that's good for me. But I think that's where they could go with it.
Adam's just gonna get a 7-day free trial to the Sega channel and just smash Jet Set Radio for 7 days, and I'd be like, nah, brah.
No, Jet Set Radio is going to be a game I like individually buy because I want that in my library forever.
I mean, okay, I see that, but do you think like the console gamers like myself are kind of getting left in the dust here?
I don't. I think a lot of people have the subscription based stuff now.
Because I still want a physical release. I still want to hold the disc in my hand. Is that weird?
I mean, no, I would love the single or like the individual discs and like the physical copy. And I have a PC now, so it's hard for me to say I'm going to go out and buy a disc. But like if I were to buy a game on my PlayStation right now, I'm going to go buy a disc. I'm not going to just buy it on the cloud, if that makes sense, because I do love having a physical copy in my hand. But for the PC, like I can't do that anymore. Like everything's digital. It's hard to say. Will they do a bundle? I think it's going to be kind of hard to do a bundle because the games are going to be so much bigger nowadays. Where like back in the day, like these games are like 10 megabytes and it has this full, or like not 10 megabytes, but like a couple 100 megabytes. But now this game will probably be like each of them 15 gigs each, at least, probably more. So
This is a good example. I don't know why I have this right here, but if you guys can see this, this is a little micro SD card. It is 16 gigs, and on this micro SD card, I have every Nintendo game, every Super Nintendo game, every Sega game, every N64, like right here on this little tiny card, which is, yeah. I mean, I get that, but like, do you think that these remakes slash remasters are going to be done to the point where it's like this is an actual game, or do you think it's like going to be just like Streets of Rage is just like it's just like 6 or 7 levels of a fighter, right? So do you think that they're going to turn this into like an actual like game with hours of gameplay, or it's just going to be the same kind of concept of like here's 7 levels in 3D of just like a brawler?
I think that's a good question. I think given what Sega is, I think the one that's going to be the most like story driven from what I know from Sega games, Jet Set Radio. I think that would probably be a full game just because of how I played Future, like Jet Set Future. Like it was a long game. Like you had to put hours into it. But you look at Sonic, like there's different levels and you can complete that in so many hours. And if you're saying like with these games, like you can get it done in a couple hours, I think it's going to have like an arcade price. Like, so, I think some Sega games are like $30 or like Sonic games are like $30. I think that's probably where some of these games are going to go. And then the ones like Jet Set Radio, like they're, I don't call them flagship, but like their mainstream titles are going to be that $70 price.
That's what I'm kind of worried about. I'm worried about pricing and how they're going to distribute this because, like I said, I'm excited for this. I am, but I'm an older gamer, and I'm just like I know that, and I'm throwing it out there. Like I am an older gamer, and I think some of these titles, like we said, they're like 20, 25. Some of these are like 30 years old. I mean, Golden Axe is like from the 80s, like the late 80s. You know what I mean? And it's like the people that care about these games are probably most likely in the same, situation that I am. Not so much PC gamers. They don't want to do streaming services. They just want to be like, oh, the new remastered Golden Axe came out. Like, let me go buy that on an actual disc with a game case for like $25, and that would be really, really cool. And I think if they don't offer that, they're going to miss the boat on some people that like actually care about the franchise, like that actually care about the franchises, that want to see what happened to these remasters.
Well, it sounds like those are not going to do as well as they probably could. Dave, it's time for you to young down. You're not gonna
Here
grow
I
up. You're gonna young down.
Here I am, just being an I'm like the old guy at the Denny's. It's like, I remember when this cup of coffee only cost 40 cents.
Exactly. So, Dave, if you want these to go, if you want them to become successful, then obviously you gotta bring it back a little bit. Bring down your
Or
age.
or Sega, just keep in mind us old gamers that would love for you to just put this on a disc so that I can just play it on my console and just keep it in my collection forever.
I hope they do though, because I love discs and like I need more PS5 games too. So maybe when it comes out on PS5, I'm gonna buy the disc for all of these games. But I have another kind of a follow or just a random question. We've been talking about nostalgia a lot tonight. Why do you like? What is so great about nostalgia? Like, why do you think it's so powerful in terms of like these games and like things that you do or like a movie you see or somewhere that you go?
I think nostalgia as a whole kind of operates in just this context of like joy, right? So I think a lot of things that are nostalgic to you because they remind you of a good time that you had. Um, and it's almost like a way to like transport yourself back into that good time. You know what I mean? And try to recapture that feeling that you had, that like feeling of joy. And I don't know. It's a difficult question because it's like, why is nostalgia so powerful? But it definitely is powerful.
Yeah, and kind of, I don't want to get too scientific because there's a huge scientific reason like why nostalgia is so powerful, which I'm not going to get into any of that at all because like I'm not a scientist and that just I think will bore people if I started getting into like the hippocampus and the psychology behind nostalgia. But really, it comes down to like almost like a an element of like your safety or like the things that you like latch on to because it like you said makes you feel so joyful, but also it's like it's a simpler time. And like for me, that's why I think nostalgia is so powerful. It's like everything was simple when you go back to like when you're a kid playing these video games on the for me like the 3DS and the car or like the Nintendo DS in the car playing Nintendogs, pet my Siberian Husky in the game. Like I think it's just it brings you back to a simpler time, but also like for me, it's like when I play some of these retro games, like this is why I fell in love with these like video games. This is why I still talk about them at like almost 30. I didn't want to put it out there, but I'm almost 30. So like I think that's why like it shows like why I am the way I am. It's a continuity of like who I am because of like back playing these games. And I think video games have a stronger nostalgia than some other things like toys and things like that because you invest emotion into the game too. You know what I mean? Like you put all
Yeah.
these hours and emotion into the game, and they're so much easier to go back to. Like I can't go out there and pick up my Power Ranger action figure that I had like 20 years ago, or you know what I mean? Like I can't do that anymore because like they don't sell those specific toys unless I go on eBay. You go on eBay, they're like $600 for this action figure that you just want to play with and not just keep in the box.
Yeah, no, and it totally makes sense, and it's exactly like you said. It goes back to a simpler time. It's like, like right now, everybody's got problems, right? Like everybody's kind of going through some stuff. Everybody has their own stuff that they're doing. Like maybe work sucks. Maybe you're not super excited about where you are. Or like it's like that. Do you remember just the level of freedom that you felt where it was like Friday night, your homework was done, your mom took you to the video store, you rented a game, and like you had no cares. Like there was no care in the world for the next 2 days other than just like, I'm gonna be chilling in my PJs, eating cheese puffs, playing Super Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, and to just to recapture even just like the tiniest little fragment of that amount of joy and that amount of like carelessness is something that like as an adult I feel like you might grasp onto a little bit because it's just like it's not possible anymore, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, like you don't back then you didn't have bills to pay. Like for like you didn't, but your parents did, and you didn't know all the struggles that like your parents had. And like obviously like, my son doesn't know the struggles I have right now because he's so happy with playing with his little Hot Wheels and stuff like that. And he'll be talking about this kind of stuff when he's 30 or you know what I mean? And it's funny that you bring up going to rent the games. Did you have did you have Family Video out there, or is that like a Midwest thing?
No, we had Family Video too.
Okay, so that was we did Blockbuster sometimes, but Family Video was more popular where we were, and the favorite deal is like 5 for 7 for 7 days for like $21, and you just had to like cycle through all these games really fast and get them back, and then like in the mail, like my parents would always get like, "Oh, your 7 days are up. Where's our games? 7 days are up. Where's our games?" And like. And it was so funny. We'd always get that in the mail. But yeah, I loved going to Family Video, going up and down the aisles, looking at movies first, because you're gonna watch the movies with your family that night. And then you go over to the video game section. Mom, I want to play this game. And like have no idea what the game's about because you just see the back of it and you're like, this should be cool. So
Yeah.
that's why I think nostalgia is so cool and so powerful. And just like you said, it's grasping onto things that you love so much when you're a kid and just takes you back and takes you out of the real world for a bit.
It's just nice to grasp onto a little bit of that freedom and joy because it's as an adult it's hard to reclaim that feeling. So yeah, hence why I have an entire shelf of Super Nintendo and N64 and when stuff gets hard I just transport myself back to an easier time.
Yep, and forget about everything for a couple of days, and then you realize, oh crap, rent's due. And I'm just kidding, but all right, Dave. So these are the Sega games that they're making. I'm gonna have you blind rank the Sega games without knowing what comes next. Are you ready?
I'm super excited for this because I'm not gonna lie, I did a little bit of research just to kind of refresh on some titles, and it opened to my eyes to a bunch of games that I haven't played in a long time. So yeah, I'm super excited for this. Hit me.
Okay, I may have picked some mainstream ones, so you might not have needed to do all that, but that's okay. So blind ranking of Sega games without knowing what comes next. Dave, your first option is Sonic the Hedgehog.
The original one, number
The
one.
original Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay. Oh, did you put another Sonic on the list, though, is the question. I am going to play it safe, and this is going to be a total cop-out. We're going to put Sonic dead set in the middle at 3.
Okay. Next choice is Toe Jam and Earl.
Let's go. Did you give me a better game than Toe Jam and Earl, though? I'm going to put it at a 2. I love Toe Jam and Earl. I'm going to leave the number 1 spot open just in case.
Okay. Your next option is Super Monkey Ball 2.
Ooh. I'm going to make some people mad. Super Monkey Ball is a 5. I get it. I understand. Guys, I get it. Just for me personally, it just wasn't that exciting. I'm sorry, Super Monkey Ball fans.
Uh-oh, gonna make some people mad. All right, Dave. Your next choice is Virtua Fighter.
Ooh, I'm gonna put it at a 4. Here's my thing. Okay, here's my thing with Virtual Fighter, real quick. The Sega controller is not the best for fighting games. I'm just gonna throw it out there. If I'm gonna play a fighting game, I would have rather played on a different console. So it's a good game, just the Sega controller not the best.
All right, I had to do it, Dave. So your number 1 game is Jet Set Radio.
Oh my god, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I set you up on purpose.
That's okay. You know what, guys, I'm okay with that. Yes, Jet Set Radio, great game. Let's go. Number 1
That is your
spot.
number 1. Number 1 is
Number
Jet Set
1,
Radio.
baby.
Let's
Number
go.
1, baby.
All right, Dave. Next game on the list, Hellblade 2. Let's hear your take so far, because I've actually never played this game, and actually never really heard about it until I saw Hellblade 2.
Hellblade is a great game, and I've been skirting around this game for a little while now because it's definitely a game that we need to cover. It's definitely a game that deserves to be covered, and it's definitely a game that deals with some issues that that need to be talked about very carefully. So, um,
A deep game. It's got a lot to do with kind of mental health and things like that. Um, so yeah, we're gonna talk about the game, but we're gonna not tread lightly, but we're gonna give us our honest opinion about it, but also being mindful of what the game, like, kind of the not the metaphor, but like the deepness of the game.
so the game has a very deep meaning, and it talks about some very serious issues. So I do apologize, but I'm going to be looking at my notes a little bit more than usual just right now because I just want to make sure that I say some things right. So Hellblade 2. I think probably the best place to start, because you were kind of in this boat, is maybe jump back and do just a very mild recap of Hellblade 1, so that people know exactly what we're talking about. In Hellblade 1, um, I think one of the coolest things about this, right, is that they touch on some very, very, very um troubling issues, mainly schizophrenia and psychosis. And the way that they did this within the game is they actually brought on 5 mental health consultants that would direct the developers on how to handle these situations within the game. So, in my personal opinion, this is probably one of the most realistic depictions of schizophrenia and psychosis seen in all of media, and that encompasses movies and everything like that. So, I think they did a really really great job. And in the first game, you play as Senua, who is the main character, and she is obviously dealing with schizophrenia and psychosis. Now, these two conditions, you have a lot of things that kind of come with these two conditions. One is voices in your head. One is just not being able to decipher visions versus reality, reliving memories, things like that. And in today's time, there's treatment for that. There's things that you can do to kind of help that along. But in the context of Hellblade, this game takes place in the eighth century, the eighth century. So we're going very very far back in time. So this condition in that time is not very treatable, and it's something that your main character has to deal with. And I think it's very, very interesting how they tied everything in. And in the game, she is on a quest to avenge the death of her lover, Dillion. And what happened to Dillion was he was unfortunately slaughtered in a raid. Um, and the goal of this whole game is that Senua is going back to avenge his death and try to reclaim his soul, because in the game Dillion is kind of the only person that is like showing her any type of compassion, any type of understanding of this condition, where the rest of the village is kind of like outcasting her, right? So you can tell from like a mental standpoint like how badly she needs him back in her life. And she is convinced that she can recapture his soul from Hela, the goddess, the realm of the dead. And that is what you are seeing in the first Hellblade game. Is you're basically on this quest to recapture your lover's soul and bring him back to you, which is a very, 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 very deep story. And in the game, basically the actual game part of it, she needs to complete three the voices in her head and the visions that she sees and everything like that leads her to find the Hellblade. And the Hellblade is important because it's the only weapon strong enough that she can kill this goddess with. And in order to reforge the blade, she has to do 3 subsequent trials to like level the blade up so that she can complete this quest. That's where we'll leave it off because I think it's an amazing game, and I don't want to spoil it, but that is basically the gist of what happens. Yeah, the premise of what happens in number 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll the trailer for number 2, because number 2, I think is gonna pick up. Um, I don't want to say right after, but I do think this is a game where if you have not played the first Hellblade, you definitely need to. This is not a jump in number two game. This is
Right.
definitely a direct sequel. Um, yeah, I'm super excited. Are you super excited? Are you excited at all for this?
Yeah, I will, and I will tell you why as we watch this trailer, or like once we're done watching the trailer. But I am actually excited about this game.
You are excited about the game.
I am very excited about this game. But yeah,
Let's
as you can
go.
see in the trailer, just kind of following. I'm gonna ruin her name. Senua. Yeah, Senua. Okay.
Yep.
Just kind of it's made by Ninja Theory again, and yeah, you just see not much is shown in this trailer so far, but there's other trailers that you can watch too. But essentially, we're just following her. She's walking through the woods and kind of going from there. This is the one that was at the Game Awards. So
Yeah. And guys, if you're just listening on the Spotify, I implore you to look up this trailer either on YouTube or wherever you consume media. Forget just for 1 second the context of the game and just look at the game as a whole. I think that the quality of this game is like kind of define like it's kind of like blurring the lines between movie and game. Don't you
right,
think?
I
I
agree.
think these
I
are
was gonna say
like it's like so good. Like I literally feel like I'm playing a movie.
yeah,
Isn't
and you
that
know me, I love games that do that. Yeah, cinematically, the game looks really cool. The graphics are really cool looking, and just the setting of the game is really cool.
yeah.
And then here's a little bit of the gameplay, and like even just the gameplay mechanic or like the visuals looks really good too. Like still like you're playing a game. Yeah, because this looks like a movie right here, like that cutscene specifically.
Yeah. And even like the combat style, like the actual like gameplay style. I mean, this is like this literally could be the future of gaming. Like
Right.
I don't want to tout it too high, but I mean, I think this is kind of like this could set the standard of like what is possible and what is going to be expected from games created in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, I agree because
Yeah.
it looks stunning, and I'm super excited about this for many different reasons. And one of them is so I didn't play the first one, but just kind of going off that story. The story is like super intriguing, and that's kind of why I didn't realize how in depth this story was, and like for me, like I don't know much about the like those mental conditions or like those mental health conditions, but like just like looking at it from a game's perspective and like it's deep and like it really gets you thinking about like what this character's going through and things that she has to go through in this game, and I think that's really cool. And then like we already talked about, I'm excited because graphically it looks really good. um
Yeah.
and and I think that's why I'm so intrigued with it is just the level of like thought and like deep like connection to the game and like also mental health. It's really cool and intriguing and has me excited to go so much. I'm gonna go buy the Hellblade, the first one, because I feel like I have to play it after watching this trailer, watching the recap, and talking about the recap, and so that's why I'm super excited about this game.
Yeah, and I think it's really, really cool. And one of the things is like, if you guys have never played Hellblade 1, or if you have Hellblade 1, and I think you probably agree with me here, the way that they deliver this story, and just kind of like put you in the perspective of Senua, who is dealing with these issues, because when you're playing the game and you're kind of getting an insight of like an experience. You're like experiencing life like how Senua is experiencing life. And you're kind of going through these different things where it's like you're hearing the voices that's in her head, but they're also like you're also kind of hearing them in your own head. And it's like you go through specific areas of the game and you're like, and we talked about this. One of the things that they have to deal with is like this difficulty to decipher what is a vision and what's reality. And you kind of relive that experience along with her where you're going through certain parts and you're like, wait, is this real? Is she are we imagining this right now? Is this really happening? Or it's like she's reliving memories instead of living in the present. And it's like, oh, okay, wait, is this happening right now, or is this a flashback, or like am I reliving a memory? And then it's all of a sudden you you've completed this section of the game, and then all of a sudden she jumps out of it, and you're like, oh my god, that was okay, like that was a memory the whole time, and you're just like, you get a very you get like a very disorienting kind of feel playing this game, but you always feel like it makes sense. And I thought the way that they did that was just so well done.
I'm excited for it because I've never played it. For me to experience that in a game, I'm super excited about, and then to kind of relive it with the or to continue it on with the second one is really cool. Um, I don't have like a bunch to say about it just because I've never played it, but it's got me like to the point. It's like I've never been more like sad that I didn't know about this game until today. Like I've never like thought about a game like, wow, I've never played that. Like why have I never played that? But watching this one, I'm like, wow, I've really never played this game. I've never even heard of this game. Like where was I? Because it looks so
Yeah.
cool, and I almost like I'm at a loss of words on how like excited I am for to play this game.
The first game, I absolutely love the first game, and I think, like I said, it was such a unique story, and it was such a unique way to present a game to you, and the game itself, um, was very good from just an actual game standpoint. I mean, the fluidity of the game was very, very good. The traversal was fun. Like the settings were great. There's some minor, very, very minor issues that I had with the combat system. But it wasn't anything that was like detrimental to the success of the game, right? And the very small kind of like gameplay, like combat fluidity kind of things that I had about the game apparently have been addressed in the second version. So it's like they took an already great game and just they doubled down on what everybody loved about it and found some very minute ways to make it better. And it's like, dude, that game is so good. Like it was so good, and it's like you just made it better. Like that's insane.
I guess a question well, when I watched the trailer and saw some of the gameplay mechanics, it reminded me a lot of like I'm just playing this game too, but like God of War, like the way the camera is over their shoulder, the way you kind of move. Is that how it kind of plays?
It's a lot like God of War, but it's a lot like God of War with like cinematic aspects. Like think about if you were controlling God of War and more of like a cinematic feel. That is what I feel like Hellblade is.
Okay, cool. Because I like God of War, and when I saw the gameplay, I was like, oh, that's kind of reminds me of God of War. And it's funny because it's Norse mythology, or it's like Vikings and Norse, so it's kind of I didn't know they were like the same thing in that sense.
Yeah, it's kind of related, and it's probably the most accurate comparison that you can put it to is like, yeah, it's probably the closest to God of War, but I think it's really, really cool. And I think if you're looking for something interesting, if you're looking for something that you just really want to see like the level that they can take something to, that a video game can go to, definitely check it out because it's a really, really, really sweet game, and I'm super excited for the second one.
Okay. Another question I have for you is, so this game is like it seems like has dark aspects. So is there like scary parts or like jump scare stuff to it at all?
There's a lot of jump scare parts to it
Okay.
because it's like we talked about. It's she's dealing with these visions, right? And for the most part, the visions are not good. You're seeing some very terrible things and very frightening things, and it's like you get a lot of those like jump scare moments where you're just like it's like kind of crazy. So yeah, there's some really scary stuff in it, and I think it's really, really good. And I think I have an idea of what's going to happen in this second installment. I'm not super positive. Yeah, my prediction. I'm not super positive on this, but I did a little bit of a deep dive on the trailer and just kind of broke it down frame by frame, right? And in the first game, we talked about how Dillian was murdered by this raid that happened of her village. Basically, what happened is that Senua has been kind of outcasted from the town, right? Because everybody is just not accepting that she's having these problems. So what she does is she puts herself into a like self quarantine, right? Where she leaves the town. She leaves the town and she decides she's going to live on her own for a certain amount of time to work through these issues and come back to the town when she feels like she is more apt to like interact with society. And what happens is she does that. When she comes back, she finds out that this raid happened, and she sees her lover, who was strung up and obviously dead. One of the craziest things is that she's in the first game. You actually carry around his head with you in a satchel the entire game. So yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, so basically what happens is after that moment, you're kind of on this quest, right? And the quest is very much to get Dillion's soul back from the gods. So the focus of the first game kind of immediately falls on the gods, right? Um, Not so much on the Northmen. And I think what you're finally kind of seeing is after the events of the first game, which I don't want to spoil too much, but it's almost kind of hard to follow if you don't know what happened. But I'm going to do my best here. Um, I think what we're seeing in the very beginning of like one of the first trailers that dropped is you're seeing that Senua is finally getting her revenge on these Northmen that killed her lover, and you can see that with like there's one trailer that dropped specifically that has like this attacking scene in the beginning of it, and I think she's getting her revenge on the Northmen. And then there's also kind of this scene that only happens for a brief second in that one trailer, and in that one trailer, you see this like hooded figure, right? And the hooded figure, um I feel like the hooded figure is going to act as like the main protagonist of this game. And I think what's going to happen is you are going to get your revenge on the Northmen. You're going to think that you have problem solved and everything is going to be good. And then you go back to your village to live life in peace. And I think what's going to happen is that you're going to be like, you're gonna be constantly like provoked by this hooded figure, right? This hooded figure is going to be the protagonist of the game, where you're like, you keep seeing visions of this figure, like they keep attacking you, things like that. And I think what's going to happen is like, this is so crazy. I think the hooded figure is going to be a representation of the guilt that you feel for not being there when the Northmen attacked your village and killed your lover. So it's going to be like a physical manifestation of the guilt that you feel for not being there to protect him. And I think the end of this game is that you are going to defeat this hooded figure, which is like the combat system in the game of like what actually makes it a game. But the big twist is going to be that you figure out that that was a manifestation of the guilt. And it's like you finally freed yourself of like this overwhelming like burden and guilt that you feel from not being there. And I think that's like, because they're going to deliver a very very deep story, and if I had to kind of like guess, that's what I think is going to happen. And I know it's crazy far. I know it's like crazy, like I sound like I sound like an insane person right now, like trying to describe this, but I think it's something that could happen.
No, I can see it just kind of based off of what what you've just said, and kind of based off of the description that they have of the game. It says, like, in the description, you're gonna save victims fallen to tyranny. You're gonna battle the darkness within and without, like within, and so kind of just going off that, I can kind of see that happening. Like, okay, you want your revenge, and so now, like, she gets her revenge, but she's like, I can just see it. I can see the way, and like with how deep this game is, I can see it happening like that. Maybe not to a T, but like very close to coming to the end, and finding out like, oh, like I'm my own worst enemy. Like it's me that I have to like fight against, my own like within this that I have to take out, and like alleviate some of this and set myself free from it. So
Think that's cool because it's like when you see that shadowy figure in that one trailer, when you see the hooded figure who I think is going to end up being like the main protagonist, it's very interesting because the line that's said when that character is shown in the trailer is that the shadow will always hang over me. And that's what really got me thinking. It's like, well, okay, the shadow will always hang over me. What would always hang over you? Guilt, right? The guilt of not being there for someone that you cared about. And especially not being there and something has happened to them, right? And it's like, just like you said, it's like a story. It's like you're battling like your inner demons, and that's a lot of like what this kind of storyline has to do. And I know it's kind of out there. And if you guys have any, if you guys have your own opinions of what's going to happen in this game, please leave them in the comments, because I'm super excited to like hear what other people are going to think. But that's kind of like my guess. If I had to guess and put a prediction out there, that's what I think is going to happen, because that they're going to deliver. Yeah, that they're going to deliver like a very, very in-depth and like meaningful story to the game.
I'm super excited about it. And I think it's going to be so cool. I really do. I think this is going to be another really good game. I'm super excited to play the first one since I've never played it. Dave, however, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to play this. Xbox exclusive, so you either got to figure out how to play it on the PC, or you're going to have to buy an Xbox.
I know. The first Hellblade, I'm not gonna lie, I played at 100%. Thank you. Shout out to my buddy if you're listening, dude. Thank you. I 100% just played at a friend's house on his Xbox because
I think it's on Steam and Xbox. So Dave's gonna become that Xbox Steam gamer. So here we go. But I'm super excited about it. There's no official release date, but they say 2024. So should be coming hopefully within the next few months, because it looks really cool, intriguing. But now, Dave, Hellblade it's a cool weapon. You know what I mean?
It's a very cool weapon. It's a very cool weapon and a very powerful weapon.
So, is it one of the best? So we're gonna do a draft of the best video game weapons ever.
Spoiler alert, the Hellblade is not on my list.
Yeah, not on mine either. Mostly because I never played it. So,
okay, let's do it. If I don't get to pick it, I'm gonna be so mad.
You won?
I got it. I finally won one.
It.
I finally won one.
I think I know where you're
guys,
going too.
Oh yeah, there's only one place to go. Guys, with the number one pick, like I said, there's only one place to go, and I'm gonna go with the most iconic weapon of all pop culture, and that, of course, is the lightsaber.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going, but that was on my list.
No?
Dang it. I did not think that's where you're going, but I think it'll be on your list in a little bit. But dang it. It's on my list, but it wasn't very high on my list. So I'm a little disappointed in myself for not getting that one. Okay.
Let's go.
Well, my first pick, also very popular, is the Scorpion Spear.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Get over here.
I'm not gonna lie, that's iconic.
Yeah.
Good one. Okay. Guys, with my second pick, we're going to go to where Adam thought I was going to go with my first pick, I'm pretty sure. And you know that my draft would not be complete without the Master Sword.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I thought number one was going to be for you. But I think you thought, oh, Adam's going to take the lightsaber, so I got to get it right away. Okay.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah. That's 100%. I thought the lightsaber was not safe.
Yeah, you would be right. It was on my top 5. So, all right. With that, my second pick is the ray gun from Call of Duty Zombies.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, number 3 is where we are gonna lose some people, but that's okay. My number 3, I'm gonna go with the Mortal Blade from Sekiro. I just, I love Sekiro. It's amazing.
Okay.
I can't not have the Mortal Blade on my list.
I don't know what that is, so I'm cool with you taking that one because you didn't get mine.
Mortal Blade is the only weapon in Sekiro, in the Sekiro universe that can kill immortals. So much like it's like the Hellblade of Sekiro.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. So you kind of did draft a Hellblade. Okay. My third pick is the Hidden Blade in Assassin's Creed.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. Dang it. Dang it.
Is that on your list?
It wasn't even on my list. How did I forget that?
I got some good ones.
Dude.
I got my 4 or 5. You're not taking them. I promise you. They're so good.
Dude. I feel like I was doing so good, and then now I just freaking lost it. Okay. Guys, my number 4. Again, I'm gonna lose some people here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. We're gonna, my list wouldn't be complete if we didn't have a Dark Souls weapon on here, and I'm gonna go with the Black Knight sword. absolutely iconic sword for the Dark Souls franchise. Strength, speed, incredible move set. That thing will never break on you. If you get the Black Knight to drop that bad boy, because it's a very rare drop. If you get him to drop that, you are playing with that sword the rest of the game, no questions asked.
Okay, I wouldn't know. I've never completed Dark Souls. So my fourth pick, Dave, is the Halo Energy Sword. You pick that
That's
bad
a
boy
good
up,
one.
boom.
That's a
Insta
good
kill.
one.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah.
good one too. Ooh, this is gonna be tough, man. I don't know. I feel like I started off strong and then I lost it. But okay. With my last pick, we're gonna bring it back, and I'm gonna put myself back in the running to win this draft. We are going to go with the Proton Pack from Ghostbusters.
That is a good weapon.
That's a good one,
weapon.
right? Yeah, that's a good one. Don't
All
cross the
right,
streams.
Dave. Don't cross the streams. You cross the streams. All right. My fifth pick, the most infuriating weapon of any gaming when it was used against you. In any game, you could be in first place, but you get hit with this weapon, you're in last place. And that'd be the
Oh
blue shell
no.
of Mario Kart.
The Mario Kart blue shell. Oh no. He
Yeah.
done did it. He done
That
did
is
it.
the most powerful weapon in any video game. You can't tell me it's not. You could be in first place on the last stretch, and then all of a sudden, here's that boom.
If you stack that with the lightning too, if you wait for somebody to pull the
Oh,
lightning out and then you blue shell,
yeah.
that's like that's a double
It's a
dipper.
game changer. It's a game changer.
That's a
And
literal game changer.
it's so infuriating to the point. I used to play with my friend that we talked about him early in this episode. I used to play with him until I used to play Mario Kart, and I was really good at Mario Kart until I played him. I never beat him once, and
Not
I was
one
always
time.
in not one time, and it would always come down to the last lap when I'm in the lead. He's in second place. He was always in second. Blue shell, lightning. And so I've never played Mario Kart with him ever again because I cannot do it. That was like 6 years ago, 7 years
I
ago,
think
because I'm so mad that I could never beat him because I always got screwed in the end.
I think that's totally understandable. And I think probably the most infuriating time for the blue shell is if you get blue shelled when you're like going over some type of gap jump where you
Oh,
get
yep.
when you get blue shelled and then you like end up in the water and you need to get picked up out of the water by that thing and put
Yep.
back on the track, and then your car, it's just like that is nothing makes me want to throw the controller more than getting blue shelled in a gap.
Yeah. Although the newer ones, right? When you get like in the rocket launches, you know what I'm talking about, where you go through like
Yeah.
the Donkey Kong barrel, like that one, you survive the blue shell because it doesn't hit you in there. I also hate when like it waits around for you to like, and then like, oh, I'm still here. Don't forget about me. And then boom. Like, dang it. I know there's the sound cannon to like push it away, but nope, nothing's stronger than the blue shell.
I just came up with a brilliant shirt idea. We could just do the blue shell and it just says blue shells be lurking.
Yeah, right? That's a great shirt idea. But that was a good draft. That was a fun draft.
No, that was a good draft. I feel like I might have lost it, but guys, go ahead and let us know down in the comments, and especially go ahead and comment if you are a Dark Souls fan, because you probably thought that I won.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see, Dave. I think the blue
We
shell
will
is
see.
a tough one to beat. All right, moving on to our last game of the night. And Dave, I think this is the game that you said that, oh, you're excited about all of them except. Is this the game that you're excited about except? Light No
Ladies and
Fire.
gentlemen, we are talking Light No Fire, and this game can kick rocks.
Whoa. Whoa, Dave. You're about to make some people mad because there's a lot of people excited about this game. And I know why you're not excited, but let's go ahead and pull up the trailer. Hopefully it
Let's
works
go
on
ahead.
the first click here.
Let's go ahead and pull up the trailer. And just a little bit of insight. I'm gonna try not to be salty. I'm gonna try to give this game the benefit of the doubt. But what we're looking at is going to be another installment from Hello Games. And if you know anything about Hello Games, they are notorious for No Man's Sky, which you could probably understand why I'm a little salty now.
So Dave was so excited for No Man's Sky, and the launch of it did not go to his expectations, and so I can see his saltiness. And honestly, like I feel like a lot of people are with you there, but I think Hello Games found the formula that works for No Man's Sky, and what they should probably do is make sure that formula is in this game. So let's go ahead and roll the trailer right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll the trailer. And I think visually, I think it looks very, very cool. And what we're kind of seeing is like the same thing that we kind of saw with No Man's Sky, where it's like they're showing us a bunch of different locations. Right now we're underwater. We saw kind of like a sandy, I think it was like kind of like a sandy kind of world. There was like a lush green kind of world, the snow covered world. I mean, other than that though, this is the point that I'm going to get to very quickly. And I just like, what is happening? What is happening in this game?
I think it's supposed to be a kind of like a survival open world RPG fantasy game, similar to like No Man's Sky, but fantasy. You know what I mean? Like it's not supposed to be space related or anything like that. Obviously it's not space related, but I think that's what they're going for. They're going for a different type of game that will appeal to people that love fantasy and RPG style games, because like some fans aren't, there's fans of different types of games, and so some people might not be fans of the space theme, and more people might be intrigued by the fantasy look. And I think that's kind of why there's going to be a new game like this. And like right this spot in the trailer now, it's like you see this little rabbit character. It seems like there's RPG elements to it too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I understand a little bit, but I really, really, really am trying to look for the positives here, and I'm having a really, really hard time, because it's like, how long is this trailer? This trailer is what, 2 minutes long now?
Yeah, about 2 minutes.
About 2 minutes long now. Other than a 10-second clip that we saw of somebody building a house, what happened in that trailer? Other than traversal,
the biomes, some of the RPG elements, you get a glimpse of like what some of the enemies will look like. I think there's a little bit more to unpack than what you're thinking, but I could see it doesn't show like actual combat mechanics. It doesn't show the building, how you build, doesn't show how you collect resources, aside from the guy using the pickaxe on the tree. But so I could see that it doesn't answer a lot of questions, and I think that could be like, how far are they in development? Are they pretty early? Do you think it's going to come sooner than what? How soon do you think this game's going to come out?
I feel like this game has probably been in development for a while now. If we're gonna be 100% honest, I feel like it's been in development for at least a few years, and definitely long enough that we should have a trailer right now that shows something outside of traversal. Because what they're touting is the same thing that they touted with No Man's Sky, right? It's a massive open world, and basically what they're doing is they're touting this as a 1-by-1 scale of planet Earth. So I mean, I get it, but they did the same thing on No Man's Sky, where they touted this gigantic kind of world to interact in, and that's great. But I say this all the time, I would much rather have a densely compact world full of things than a gigantic world full of nothing. And I feel like that's a lot of what we saw in that trailer, was like, outside of traversal, what else are you giving me? Because it just feels like another Hello Games attempt to be like, look at how big we can make a world, and then like not fill it with stuff. You know what I mean? And it's I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I so tried to get behind this and like find the good aspects. But Adam, like, are you excited for this game? Do you have a saving grace to like pull me out of the depths of this like No Man's Sky just memory that I'm stuck in?
Like I said, I think if they learn their lesson from the launch of No Man's Sky and they go to the formula that makes No Man's Sky a good game now, then I'm excited about this game. but there's also things that I'm also nervous about. Like, yeah, it's a huge open world, like you said. Is it full of stuff? I know like each biome is going to offer different element or like resources that you have to collect to make different weapons and house or like things that you need to build and things like that and armor. Um, my other question is, so you saw the like there's some big enemies like monster looking people. Are those like quest monsters or am I going to see those more often? Like, is there going to be like certain quests that I have to do? I also think that so this reminds me a lot of you've seen Rust?
Yeah.
Okay, Rust and Ark Survival, like those games,
Yeah.
like the dinosaur game. So it reminds me of those in the aspect of like, yes, there's a lot of people, but what I don't want this game to turn into, which I loved Ark Survival, but I loved it to the point where I can just build and hunt dinosaurs. What I hated about that game, it's like, and I hate about Rust too, which is why I've never played it, is you get into a server, like you're screwed. Like if it's a public server, like you don't have any land to build on. You get like screwed because the big dogs that have been in the server for so long pick on new characters. They trap them in like spawn traps because they don't want anybody else in their server. And so like I hope that like when you build a server, because I know like in Ark, I don't know if it's changed. I haven't played in a long time. Like you can host a server, but like you can only do it like your friends can join only if you're online. Whereas like the public ones are always online, obviously. So I hope that this game doesn't turn into a Rust or a Ark because I hate that about these types of games because they are fun. And so that's one thing what would make me not excited about it. But I think it's cool that it has more RPG elements to it. Like you'll be able to level up your character, you'll be able to customize your character because and it seems like you'll have different races. So you see like the human race, the rabbits. I'm guessing there's gonna be others. One look like a cat, one look like an otter. So I think it's gonna be cool that you'll have that much customization of your character. But like you said, there's a big skepticism with how bad they started the first launch of No Man's Sky, and I can see why you're bitter about it.
And I think, and like, I know I'm gonna make some people mad. I'm really sorry, guys. I really am, and I really did try to get behind this, but it's like, I heard good things about No Man's Sky with the updates and stuff, right? It's like No Man's Sky dropped for me, and it was not good. And then all I've heard is that like, oh, they made No Man's Sky really good. All these updates came, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I need to know. Like, I need to actually know what No Man's Sky is now, and I don't want to watch a No Man's Sky review video after updates or read some article put out by like an IGN or something where it's like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. So I went straight to the source and I jumped on Twitch. I did this last night. I jumped on Twitch and I looked for No Man's Sky streamers. And for about an hour and a half, I watched 7 to 8 No Man's Sky streamers. I didn't say anything. I just went in their chat and I just watched them interact in the game. And I have to tell you, and I'm so sorry, and I'm going to make so many people mad. That was the most boring experience of my entire life. Just watching that game happen was so painstakingly boring. Nothing in that game happens. Nothing. I went to like 7 or 8 different streamers. They're all just walking around and like identifying this new bush or like they're flying through this space like and like shooting asteroids, and it's like, dude, what is happening? When is something going to happen in this game? And I think that's exactly what we're gonna get with this game. It's just gonna be another game where nothing happens.
I guess the way you can kind of look at it, and I would say, what are you expecting of these games? That's a question I have.
I'm expecting a game. I'm expecting like some type of like story interaction within this game, right? And it's like you need to steer me along the course of something. And I feel like you don't get that with these games.
So I wonder, so you want some type of story to it, but I think what No Man's Sky is it's more of a exploration game. You know what I mean? Like it's exploration, building your base, kind of. I think that's where maybe like the disconnect for you is right now, plus being how bad of a launch it was, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't. I'm trying to. I don't know. I'm trying to say this without like really hurting people's feelings. I just don't understand the level of interest in something like that.
So my next question is like No Man's Sky is more it's multiplayer in a sense, but it's more of a solo kind of thing, right? Right.
Right.
Okay. This game or Light No Fire is like wants it to be multiplayer. It wants you to have your friends all in this world. And it's gonna have elements where you have to level up and like kind of do things with your create communities and things with your friends. So I think that's a different approach that they're taking other than like No Man's Sky was.
But what is the end goal?
If it's anything like Ark Survival, like there's certain like big quests that you can like take on, and so each quest like you beat this dragon or you beat this dinosaur, you beat this dinosaur, and then you come to this final gate where you fight this massive dragon. So it could do something like that.
So for me, that sounds incredible. Where is that in No Man's Sky?
It's
Where,
not in there.
wh-
I think
yeah, exactly. And I don't think they're gonna have anything like that in this one either.
I don't know. I think they are because you see, like, because there's much more combat like shown in this game with like the bow and arrow. There's gonna and you saw the big like tower enemy starting to stand up. Like I think that's gonna be a lot of the enemies in the storyline and like you have to complete these quests. I'm trying to sell
I
you
don't-
here, Dave. Come on, take the bait. I'm reeling you in. I think it's one that I think this one is going to be more what you're looking for than what No Man's Sky is. I really
I
do.
hope so.
Just based off of what I've seen in the trailer and what the positivity that I've seen around this game, I think it's much more along the lines that you like with the games. Because I know like, and I know you're not the hugest of survival fans, but in terms of like the things to do, the quest to follow, I think that's more in line with what you'll like.
I mean, I hope so. And again, I don't want to make anybody mad. Again, this is my personal opinion. And I understand how people can be excited about this. And again, like there's plenty of games. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of games. If there's people that are excited about this game, I'm happy that you're getting this game. And I really hope that you enjoy it. And I really hope that it ends up being what you expect. But you know, this is a show where we talk about our own personal opinions of these games. And yeah, and just for me personally, the just bitter taste from Hello Games has still been left in my mouth from No Man's Sky. And I feel like I'm reliving that memory all over again because it's like they're doing the exact same thing that they did to me with No Man's Sky, where it's like we're touting this incredible exploration thing, like this gigantic open world. Like you're gonna be able to interact with all of your friends. You're gonna be able to build your all the things that you want. And it's like I've same story, bro. Same story. I've heard this all before. I've heard it all before. I've been disappointed by this all before. And it's like I don't know if they come through this time, great. If they come through this time, great. But if they don't come through again, I'm not gonna be like, didn't see that coming. Like, like
Different
you know what I
movie,
mean?
same scripts.
Exactly. That's a brilliant way to put it. Like, again, I understand how people are excited for this game, and I really, really do hope it's good. And if you're excited for this game, like I'm happy for you. I genuinely am happy for you because there's 1,000 video games out there. I don't have to play this video game. But like I said, I mean, Hello Games has made all of these promises before. They've let us down on all of these promises before, and I just feel like we're just reliving. I'm in No Man's Sky deja vu right now.
You're in the negative nostalgia of No Man's Sky.
I am in negative nostalgia land of No Man's Sky. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant way to put it.
I'm excited for it, but is it a game I'm gonna get to start? I want to wait till this game is released, let people play it, and then I'll make my decision on whether or not. If it's like Rust and it's public servers and you can get screwed over, then no, I'm not playing this game. But if it's like if it's like Minecraft where you can have your world and your friends can join in and like you can have your own server without paying for it, then I'm cool with it. Actually, I think you have to pay for the Minecraft servers now. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm excited about this, but not because I'm going to buy it at launch.
I don't want to see the game fail and I would tell people don't buy it at launch, but if nobody buys it at launch, they're not going to do anything with it. So it's like a catch-22, right? It's like if you love this game, if you love the game and you love the idea of the game and you want to support the game, you want to buy it at launch. But if you're skeptical, you don't want to buy it at launch because it's like everything that I've heard about No Man's Sky, it's like, oh, with all these updates and with all these patches, like it's a really cool game. Like, who cares if they make the game good 2 years after it comes out?
It's been a big conversation recently of games. It's like people or like developers are releasing crap and like, oh, we can just patch it later. Like that's what's kind of become a norm with these games, and it sucks because like you expect something to deliver as you buy it because that's why you buy it, and then you have to wait for patches and updates and DLCs to make it the game you want. Like, no, that sucks. And I hope, like I said, I hope Hello Games learn from it and they're going to deliver what they're promising because it's again very ambitious, like No Man's Sky was. And to me, who knows? There's a lot of skepticism with how they're going to release this game. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be like, oh, well, we released it. It's good enough to release, but we have a lot of patches coming. So stick with us. Stick with us. Instead of this delaying a game and like, we've talked about this too. It's like, if you're delaying a game to fix it, fine. But if you're delaying a game because like you're just trying to figure out your marketing or things like that, then that's awful and you don't make changes. But like, if you need to delay this game, Hello Games, if you need to delay the game, make sure to do it so you do deliver on the promises that you're giving fans of like games like this.
Yeah, because people are going to spend their money on this and they're going to get it on release and they're going to be like, hey, guys, like what happened to all of those things that you promised before I got this game? And then they're just like, oh, don't worry. It's coming. Just give us like 6 months. But for right now, this is probably good enough, right? And you're like, no, it's not. Like,
yeah, I don't have the patience. I don't have the time to wait that long.
right. It's like if you bought a jacket and you buy the jacket and there's no zipper on it and you like call up the company and you're like, yo, I bought this jacket and there's no zipper. And they're like, don't worry, the zipper's coming. It's going to take like 6 weeks, but the zipper will be there. And you're like, what? Like,
yeah.
what
Or you
are
buy
you
a
talking
box
about?
of shoes only has one shoe. Or like you order
Yeah.
shoes, there's only one. And you're like, wait, where's my second shoe? It's like, that's coming. Don't worry. We're releasing that one in a couple months.
Don't worry. We're gonna patch over that second shoe to you in like 3 months. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
That's how game developers are nowadays. Yeah,
Yeah.
game developers. Oh, let's send you one shoe. We'll give you the second one in a couple months.
Yeah.
So funny.
So, I mean, I know a lot of people are excited about this game. Adam, do you have anything else to say about it? Anything
No,
to
other than
touch
that,
on? No.
I think it's supposed to release in 2024. It's one of those things. If it needs to be delayed, please delay it. Other than that, I'm excited to see what this game turns into. But from the start, a lot of skepticism from many other people too. So
I wish them all the best. And again, I don't want to upset anybody. This is just my personal opinion. I hope the game does well. I really do. I really hope that it does well, and I really hope that it's a game that people enjoy. And I know that there's going to be a group of people like me that are kind of on guard because of their experience with No Man's Sky, and I hope that Hello Games can kind of make amends on No Man's Sky and my experience with them as a developer. And hopefully this game is something really, really cool. I, unfortunately, will just be waiting to grab this one after I see what it's all about.
I'm cool with that. All right, Dave. There are dragons in this game, and dragons are cool.
That part is really cool. I'm not going to lie. The flying the dragon is really cool.
Yeah. So let's do a draft of the best dragons ever. Fictional dragons.
Fictional dragons ever. And if I don't win this one, that doesn't count. I dropped it. That's the first time I dropped the coin in 31 episodes.
Woo!
Oh, dang it.
Let's go. Okay, my list might be a little different than yours, but my first overall pick is Spyro.
Let's go.
I love Spyro. He's so cool.
Spyro is actually on my list. On my list.
Nostalgia, man. That's the theme of tonight's episode. Nostalgia. That's what brings me.
Nostalgia. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. With my very first pick, I am going to take a page from the comments of our rodent draft, in which we did not pick Pikachu. And I'm not making that mistake for us twice, there, Adam. What is that face for?
Because it's a rodent draft. Like, why are you gonna say it's some? I think they're saying it's more like a mouse than a dragon.
What do you mean?
Pikachu, it's a rodent. Like that's what they're saying in the
No,
draft.
no,
I
no, no,
don't
no, no,
think-
no. I'm not choosing. I'm not choosing Pikachu. No, no, no. I'm learning from our experience with the rodent draft, where we did
Oh.
not pick Pikachu, and I'm not going to allow us to make that mistake again. So
Oh, okay, I got you
my first overall pick will be a Pokemon that people will put in the comments if we do not include, and I am 100% going to take Charizard as the #1 dragon. Yeah, taking it.
Dang it. That was on my list. That was pretty high on my list. All right. All right, my second pick, we talked about the game that's coming out with Dragon Ball. So I'm taking Shenron from Dragon Ball Z.
That's a good
Just
one.
Dragon Ball in general.
That's a good one. Okay, guys, with my second overall pick, I will be taking Smog from The Hobbit.
Ooh, that's a good one. All right.
Mhm.
My third pick is Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
Dang it, that was on my list too.
It's such a cute dragon. I love him.
That's such a good dragon. I thought I could save that one. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I could save it, but apparently I cannot. Okay, guys, with my third overall pick, I've touched on this before, and I hope this counts. But I'm gonna go to the Godzilla era, and I'm gonna take a little Ghidorah. Did that
Okay.
count, right?
Well, let's
It's a
I'm
three-headed.
cool with that.
It's a three-headed dragon.
Yeah, let's let you have it. All right.
I technically
My
took
fourth-
3 dragons.
That's okay. I took 3 mice in our last blind ranking or our draft. All right. My fourth pick is the Blue Eyes White Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
This draft is neck and neck. All right,
It is.
guys. With my fourth overall pick, this is where I lose the draft because this only means something to me and a handful of other people. But I am going to take Seath the Scaleless from Dark Souls, the dragon that started the entire franchise of Dark Souls. So could not be on my list, and that's where I lose the draft to Adam.
I would think so. I'm gonna bring it home. My last pick, I'm gonna bring it home with my last pick. Oh wait, yeah, I did 4.
Oh yeah.
Spyro,
Yeah, you got first pick.
Toothless, Shenron, and Blue Eyes White Dragon. So
Yep.
bringing it home with my last overall pick, and that is Dragon from Shrek.
Let's go. That's
That is
such a
the
good pick.
romance of all romances. Donkey and
That's-
Dragon.
That's such a good pick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Dang it, I totally lost this draft. Okay,
I would
whatever,
agree, I would
guys.
agree.
With my last pick, I'm gonna go with the one and only Falcor from the Neverending Story. I'm sorry, I'm an
Ooh.
old dude. Neverending Story. I've watched that movie 1,000 times. Give me some Falcor.
So I had him on my list, but I was like, because he kind of looks like a dog almost. He's like a dog dragon.
Is
A
it
dog dragon.
a dog dragon?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a dog and a dragon. Like his little floppy
A dra-
ears.
A drog? Like a drog?
Sure.
A
But no,
drogon?
Yeah, oh, there we go. A doggone. Yeah, he was-
A doggone dragon?
Yeah, he was on my list, but I wasn't sure. But that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Some honorable mentions here. We have Dragonite from Pokemon. You can do Charmander and Charmeleon. Mushu.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yep. And then
From
I
Milan.
wasn't sure. Yep, exactly. I wasn't sure if this one, he's kind of like a turtle, but also like a dragon. I was going to go with Bowser, but I wasn't sure on how to put it.
I would have given it to you.
Yeah, he was at number 10 on my list anyway. So if you took any of my top ones, I was going to put him on there. But yeah,
Yeah, I
overall,
would've
that's a
given
good
him to
draft.
you.
I won, I think, though.
Yeah. I think you might have won. I think Seath the Scaleless probably screwed me, but it's all right. And my heart of hearts, I could not leave him off the list. He's the starter of the entire franchise that I love. Also, a quick shout out to Elliot from Pete's Dragon, 1971 movie that I've watched about 1 billion times because it was one of the only VHS tapes that my grandma had at her house. So yeah,
That's awesome.
shout out to Elliot from Pete's Dragon.
I think there's Aragon. I can't remember the name of the dragon in that. That was a really good dragon.
Oh yeah. I also got Draco from Dragonheart. You ever seen Dragonheart?
Oh yeah. Or we got Ord from Dragon Tales. There's the Dragon Tales dragons.
Yeah, those ones are good.
Yeah. Yep.
I also had my cop out of Puff the Magic Dragon just from that song.
I gotcha. I was gonna say Imagine Dragons too. I was like, oh, that'd be a funny one.
That would be a good one, yeah.
Yeah. All right, good episode, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is a fun one.
My dudes, guys, we love you guys very, very, very much. And I just want to say again, I know I say this all the time, but I want to say just again, thank you. As you guys know, on the last episode, we touched on getting our 1,000 subscribers, and literally right now, as we are filming this episode, we are about to hit our next 100. So like 100, we literally are like 100 subscribers in a week on the YouTube, which is just absolutely insane. It really is just absolutely insane, and we super appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the comments, thank you for all the likes, for all the subs, for all the support, for listening on the Spotify, and just being part of the nerdy family. We super appreciate you guys, and we got some more very cool stuff that we're excited about coming very soon into season 2. So thank you, love you guys very much. Adam, what you got for him?
If you're not following us on all social media, please make sure to do so. Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast, and check out our website, Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast. And if you're obviously watching on the YouTube with us, make sure to tippity tap that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, go from there.
Yeah, love you guys very much. Thank you for everything, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Peace out, nerds. This was not planned.
This was not planned. I cannot believe we wore the same shirt.
That's so funny.